Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to Risk Media. Today we're going to look at a topic that it has actually trending for recently, and here in Kenya. And for those of you who've been following, news recently, you'll be able to realize that everywhere they've been, the news has always been about missing child here and there. So we had to look at what the current statistic is all about in terms of a child trafficking, child kidnaps, just child protection cases that they've been on the rise this year from January to this. Actually, on the statistic bit of it, they're actually stating that we're having around 26 children that are missing on daily basis. And actually it has been on the rise from this May, and that's why it is now worrying. So I've been able to gather some data to look at how, in terms of geographically, how the statistic, how the trend is, and how you yourself, you can also be able to make sure that your child is safe. And because on these cases, we have hotspot areas, so you also need to make sure that you also look at it. So in terms of statistic, if you look at the statistic, abduction cases, it has also been on the rise. It is reported that around 4 to 5 cases are being reported on daily basis. So if you look at the statistic, how it is that it is reported that around 4 to 5 children, there have been abduction cases that are reported on daily basis, and over 10,000 cases in terms of child protection cases are reported. They have already been reported from the period of January to March this year, and Nairobi County is leading on the cases of child protection cases, related cases. So Nairobi is actually is leading, whereby it is over 10,000 cases alone reported within this period. So in terms of child protection cases, it is reported around 173 cases have been documented as reported. So the positivity of all these cases that have been reported is that we have around 78 cases that has been resolved. So around 78% of the cases that have been reported, they have been resolved in terms of being rescued and being integrated back to their parents. So in terms of hotspot cases in areas, hotspot areas, when it comes to these cases, it is reported that Nairobi County is leading, followed by Nakuru, Kakamega, and then Kiambu regions. So and in Nairobi, hotspot areas are reported to be majorly slum areas such as Mukuru, Njenga, and its neighborhoods such as Eastleigh, Kibera, and Pangani. And if you're residing within these areas, make sure that your kids they are well protected in terms of look at how they are interacting, who they're interacting with, because even as reported, especially in Nairobi, we have cases whereby they are using kids to also lure other kids so that they can be abducted. So these are some of the areas that we also need to make sure that we look at. In Kiambu County, areas like Juja, Eastleigh, Maraba, hotspot areas in Kiambu where children have been reported to be missing or abducted, in this region. So western border towns like Busia, Malaba, Sebania, so they are hotspot for child for human trafficking. So these are regions that mostly bordering, these towns. They are hotspot for human trafficking. Coastal region has been highlighted as a hotspot for child sex tourism in counties like Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, and Lamu. So it has been flagged at hotspot for child sex tourism. So as we look at the increase of these cases, we're trying to look at the angle in terms of the cases and how they're being reported. And most of the cases that have been reported so far, it's actually some of the underlying issues. It's like, for example, the betrayal of trust. You find that people who are very close to these children are the ones that are being used to lure these children so that they can be trafficked or abducted. So it's just a betrayal of trust. And one of the cases that was reported, it is actually this year, March, where a 5-year-old Faradosa Katio disappeared from Njenga. A family friend was suspected of selling her, highlighting how trust is weaponized in tight night community. So now you can see now in terms of this case, the person who was used to to traffic this child is actually a very close relative. So another case is the organized trafficking ring, whereby in terms of this there were around 22 girls aged between 12 to 16. They were rescued mostly they were rescued actually in Mombasa and Kilifi. They were actually used for exploitation. So in this case, you'll see that these girls were actually sent to various rescue centers in Mombasa. So now you can see that we have organized trafficking ring who are mostly looking at to traffic and abduct girls between the age of 12 and 16 used for sex exploitation. So another case is ransom and tragedy. So in terms, actually April this year, a 17-year-old girl was abducted in Malindi and 20,000 ransom was dismantled. The suspect was arrested, was later found dead in his cell under mysterious circumstances. So which actually added another layer of controversy. So in this case, you will see that some of those people who are actually committing this type of child kidnapping actually will realize that they're also after ransom. So they will give you a number for you to make sure that you pay that amount. If you don't, they'll threaten that they're going to do something evil to these children. So another case that was actually recently reported, it is actually in May, this May 2026, is actually in the Githurai. A 15-year-old girl was caught leading a 2-year-old way on CCTV camera. She confessed to stealing the child for promised phone, illustrating how even minors are drawn into these rings. So they are also using child to lure other children in order to be trafficked, kidnapped, and trafficked. So this is just the trend how it is there in Kenya. And if you look at the current trend where it is, you will understand that parents, guardians, you need to make sure that you take care of your kids. Make sure that you do not leave your kids people that they are not close to you. You have even seen that the betrayal of trust. You leaving your kids to people that you really don't know very well. So and these are now people that are they're actually selling these kids to other disorganized criminal gangs so that they can benefit monetarily. So let us make sure that we we remain cautious and be able to be on the watch out to this current trend. And actually, and that's why you see that in the event any suspected case of child abduction, trafficking, or abuse can be reported through the National Child Helpline 116, or you can also be able to report to the nearest police station or the sub-county children office. So let us make sure that we remain alert and vigilant, and make sure that you take good care of your children, especially those children that are mostly underage and are girls, and let us make sure that we look at them and make sure that we protect them. The hotspot areas, Nairobi is leading, western part of Kenya and Mombasa when it comes to sex trafficking for the minors. So let us make sure that we look into that, we be on the watch out, and our kids' safety is our responsibility.